Hello, this is me reading stuff. I'm Robin O'Neill. I'm an artist. I'm, what am I? What else am I? I'm from Nebraska. I live in Washington State. I have a cat named Frankie. I'm pretty happy, for the most part these days because I survived surgeries. I have dealt with anxiety, severe, my whole life, but I'm currently pretty damn chill. It'd be hard to get me worked up these days. I'm going to be honest with you. That's something about me. What else? Did I say I'm an artist? I make drawings. That's my main thing, I would say, or that has been my main thing. I would like to make this podcast my main thing. How can we do that? Should we do that? I've always wanted it to be my main thing. It is in my heart. I think that the connections I've made through this podcast are the most important connections I have found in my life. So there's something to that. I used to want to be a DJ growing up. I love radio DJs. I love WKRP in Cincinnati. I love Delilah. I love Delilah. I used to love Howard Stern. What else? What else about me? Yeah, I used to record my voice all the time as a kid. It's not that I love to hear myself talk. That is definitely not what it is. But I think, you know what? The only way I can describe it is I actually just need to. I just need to talk out loud to a bunch of anonymous brains, just people I imagine. It's just something that helps me out a lot. And I can't explain it other than that. All right. So anyway, this is me reading stuff. I've had this podcast for a long time, babies. Long time. Over 10 years now. And obviously, it hasn't been as frequent as I'd like it to be, but that's because I've been very sick. And you guys, let's just launch into that. I am very happy to report. There's a lot of varies going on here. I am exceedingly happy to report that I got great news from my cardiologist and from my general doctor, my regular doctor. I had, number one, first of all, ever since I last spoke to you guys, I got perfect blood test results back. That's right. Let's hear it for that. Perfect blood test. It's been a long time since I had that. There were a lot of things that happened to me after my surgeries where all of my numbers were off and scary, but they're not anymore. So how great is that? Got to take this hoodie off. I'm getting really hot. And then I was very sad because my cardiologist moved, and I loved my cardiologist. I had to get a new cardiologist. Bad timing being that I'm in the state I'm in post surgeries, but that was okay. And I tried to stay positive about it. You know what? I didn't doom and gloom it. I was just like, you know what? This person's going to be awesome too. That's right. I just believed it. And we rolled in there last week, and after a lot of tests and all the tests I've been waiting to have done again after all my surgeries, and guess what? Perfect results. After my echocardiogram, this cardiologist said, like almost in passing as if it was no big deal, "Oh yeah, and your heart looks perfect." And I said, what? What was that? Let's say that again, but on the speaker to the whole hospital, please. And it was just such great news. I sound a little bit, right now, I'm saying things that mean so much to me, but I feel like my voice sounds bland. And I don't know what that's about. That's really weird. Does it sound bland, or am I just imagining it? Because I do not feel bland about this. I feel like screaming off of my rooftop. Like, I am better. It took a long time for my heart to heal, and actually my whole chest cavity, all of this area, to heal after my heart surgeries. But I'm here now, and I am feeling great. So to hear from a cardiologist who just looked at all of these tests and said, yeah, your heart is functioning like a normal person's heart. You are good, girl. Go and live your life. Keep going to the gym. She did say that. She was very proud that I actually take care of my body. I do need to eat more protein. You guys, I don't like protein. I don't like eating it. I just don't. I want to eat a bunch of sides that have almost no, well, I like nutritional value. I like fruits. I like vegetables. I like salads. I like roasted vegetables. I like onions. I like garlic. I like parsley. And that's what I'd like to eat. I'd like to eat a lot of potatoes. Potatoes with parsley and lemon and stuff like that. Cheese. I'd like to eat a lot of that. None of that is great for when you're trying to get a lot of protein. I don't know what to do. But it seems like that's the thing now, is everybody knows they need to eat a lot of protein. I certainly know it's good post-surgery. And I was on a roll for a while there, but I've kind of let it slip. You know what I hate is that it's impossible to do it all, you guys. It just is. But you know what? As my therapist says, I'm okay with not being okay now. That's my biggest development. Okay with not being okay. Like, I'm not perfect. I am not trying anymore. I can't do it all. I can't be both a good housekeeper and a good friend and a good artist and eat a lot of protein and keep up with my dental hygiene and go to every doctor appointment and exercise every day and be great at cleaning my cat's cat litter out. Like, I mean, I am good at that. I do that. Obviously, I do that every day. But you know what I mean? Something's got to give. How do you guys do this? How do you get over things when you know you're not getting it all done? I mean, I'm getting better about it. That's what I'm saying. But it just makes me mad that I can't do it all. And reading, I've been reading a ton. When it's just like, no matter what you plug in, something's going away, like the more I read, the less I take baths. That doesn't make any sense because I do read in the bathtub, but the more I read, the less I prepare meals. How about that? The more I read, the less I get done on my website, which, incidentally, is driving me crazy. I have been trying to fix my new website up and get it posted and published, and I just can't do it. I don't know what is going on with me. I've been working on this for over a year. Now, number one, I'm not good at this kind of stuff, so that's part of the problem. Number two, I have to learn a lot. Everything I want to do, I have to learn a lot before I do it. And number three, it's just, I don't understand how anybody can be on a computer all the time. I don't understand how anybody can stare at laptops for, more than 40 minutes to an hour at a time. I just go crazy. It isn't fun for me. It doesn't make me happy. Back to the books, I have been reading a lot of books, but they've all been on my Kindle because my eyesight is so bad. But once I started to just accept that I'm going to look at my Kindle for my books, you guys, I read so much more because it's just so simple. And also you can read in bed without having to adjust, your lighting situation and everything. It's just so nice. And I can take so many books with me everywhere I go. I'll be right back. I almost forgot to mention, I have a correction corner. It's been a while since I made enough podcasts to even have a correction corner. But on the last week, I think it was 2 weeks ago, on our last week's podcast, I was referring to this box that is still right here to the right of me. I was referring to this box of notebooks that I have filled up, and that in 2023, I went through dozens and dozens and dozens of them. And I think I said I had scriptomania. Well, I don't think scriptomania is a term. Now, nobody wrote in and criticized me, by the way. I just got to thinking about it. I was like, I don't think that's the word for it. So I looked it up, and I could not find scriptomania. Maybe scriptomania means something else, but I think the word I was looking for is hypergraphia. Hypergraphia? How would you say that? I would say hypergraphia. Or graphomania, they said, was a Greek term for writing madness. The internet. But I was not right about scriptomania. So my apologies. I think I needed to say hypergraphia or graphomania. Okay? So I learned a new word. I learned because of that. And I just looked it up and let me pull this up. So under hypergraphia on Wikipedia.org, everybody, It says hypergraphia is a behavioral condition characterized by the intense desire to write or draw. Forms of hypergraphia can vary in writing style and content. It is a symptom associated with temporal lobe changes in epilepsy and in Geschwind syndrome. Structures that may have an effect on hypergraphia when damaged due to temporal lobe epilepsy are the hippocampus and Wernicke's area. Aside from temporal lobe epilepsy, chemical causes may be responsible for inducing hypergraphia. And to the right, there's this gorgeous piece from, I think it's from the Prinzhorn Collection. Is that in Austria, Germany? Anyway, by the artist Emma Hauck. It says, a letter written by artist Emma Hauck while institutionalized in a mental hospital. Many of her letters consist of only the written words, quote, come sweetheart, end quote, or, quote, come, end quote, repeated over and over in a flowing script. And they end up looking almost like maps or something, but it's just this beautiful, beautiful cursive. You should check it out. Emma Hauck is spelled Hauch. And Prinzhorn Collection. There we go. It's a German. This place has always been my dream, and believe it or not, I've never gone. It's a German collection of art made by mental health patients housed at the Heidelberg University Hospital. And I have many books with a bunch of art from the Prinzhorn Collection. The collection was influential on the practice of the artist Jean Dubuffet, who visited in 1950. Writing to Matisse, Dubuffet described it as, quote, something I have dreamt of for years. So in 2001, the collection was open to the public at the Sam Lung Prinzhorn Museum. So that is my dream place to go. And there's just so much great art that came from that institution. So there you go. There's a little detour into not scriptomania, but hypergraphia. Hypergraphia. And if I'm pronouncing that wrong, you know what? We'll all live, won't we? Okay, guys, it's time to read. Today we're going to go back to reading from the World Book Encyclopedias. And there's a reason for this. I jumped back onto Instagram the other day and decided to just post something because I need to, anyway, long story short, I posted an old drawing of mine and I had a nice comment from somebody named Tom. I'm going to say Howes, Howes, Tom, Tom. Now, Tom Howes. Now I'm doubting that I'm saying that name right, but I think it's Howes. Go ahead and follow him on Instagram. It is Not in Front of Company. That's what you look for. Not in Front of Company. You'll see all of these amazing and intriguing and bizarre and funny and sad. And I don't know how they are, but they're relatable images, these black and white drawings that look like they're made on maybe like on a laptop. They look like digital drawings, but they have the feel of pen and ink drawings too, so I'm not sure exactly how they're made. I just love them. They're very hard to explain. So I just want you to, go ahead and take a look and see what you think. Like this one, for instance, here's one of a coffee pot. This one's called You Make Me Feel So Alive, and there's a hand just dropping grounds into the coffee pot, and they're kind of going over the side of it. And that's essentially it for that one. And I'm not making it look great. Like, here's another one. It's a ham, like a sliced ham that's opening up with the slices. And then you'll see inside the ham, there is this guy tied to train tracks. This one's called Situations You Find Yourself In. This one looks like these, maybe they're ballet dancer males coming to a town near you, and it's these guys in leotards. They're the same guy. It's 3 versions of him with his little nipples are kind of coming out of it. I don't know how to describe it. I don't even know what to say. He's holding himself, like another version of himself, and they look like they're doing gymnastics or something together. They are so fun. Anyway, so Tom Howes wrote on Instagram just a nice comment under my drawing about something, and then said that Tom was a listener of the podcast and that Tom liked when I read from the encyclopedia. So I said to Tom, well, you know what? I'll do it again. This was a good moment for me to excuse me while I push my laptop. It was a good moment for me to just go, well, I need to commit to doing another podcast anyway. So let's let Tom pick the letter in the encyclopedias that I decide to read from. And we're going to do a random reading from a random page. I'm just going to open. I've got both of my encyclopedias. I've got one from 88 and one from 62. My favorite are the ones from 62, so we'll leave that last. And Tom picked the letter A, so we're going to go from here. And you can hear me opening it up, and I wish you could smell it because, my Lord, and I am reading from the World Book Encyclopedias. These are the books that I always credit with making me an artist, and I really do mean that when I say that. Let's put on, I brought the glasses in, I brought my readers in today. Okay, I opened right up to animals. I mean, it's just, see, this is what I love about, you're usually thinking like antelope, or I'm going to have to go, I want to learn about bats, or I want to learn about Labrador retrievers. But this is just, encyclopedias are so incredible to me. Because animals, you don't just sit around, I don't know how to describe it. You don't sit there and go, I'm going to look into the word animals. But and here it is. It's already hilarious because it starts with where animals live. And it says, animals live everywhere, in all climates on land and at all levels of the ocean. Many kinds of animals live in the same place. What does that even mean? Many kinds of animals often live in the same place? Okay, yeah. That makes sense, guys. And then it says, usually they are the same kinds of animals that have lived in those surroundings for thousands of years. Again, this encyclopedia is so bizarre to me because they say the most obvious things. Okay, let's see what else we've got here. And then there's great illustrations. We've got a wolf spider, a Nepalese swift from Asia. We have a chinchilla from South America. They are cute. That is a cute animal. We've got a mountain gorilla from Africa. Gorgeous. Giant panda. The Marco Polo sheep. Beautiful. Snow leopard. Beautiful. I mean, you can't get any better than an elephant. Oh, and there's these African lions sitting there looking just like Frankie. Okay, let's see what else. Do we really need to learn about animals, though? I mean, this was fun. Animals that harm people. That's an entire section here. People have killed off most of the animals that once hunted them. That's just not true. There are plenty of animals that I don't know what they're talking about. Most wild animals will attack a person only if they cannot run away or to defend their young. I mean, maybe that's true. Blah, blah, blah. Or they may simply eat human flesh as a part of a normal varied diet. That's a good sentence. Crocodiles and sharks will seize any meat they can when they get hungry. Poisonous snakes cause death to people in many parts of the world. Okay, there you go, animal. I mean, how do you even describe what an animal is? Here is the first sentence in the animal section. Animals of many shapes and sizes live in all parts of the world. See, that's not a definition of an animal. There's nowhere in here am I seeing anything that is the definition of an animal. The next section is the largest ears. The largest ears of all animals are those of the African elephant. That is an entire section right after the main heading of animal. Animals of many shapes and sizes live in all parts of the world. The largest ears of all animals are those of the African elephant. Well, Tom, I hope you're loving this. I know I am. Let's move on. Let's see what else we've got. Okay, I opened up, and at the top of the page it says Adonis, which I know to be several different things, but definitely a flower. And Adonis, I have always wondered. I don't know the Greek myth. I know that Adonis is what you call like a hot guy. Okay, Adonis was a handsome youth in Greek mythology. Adonis's beauty attracted Aphrodite, the goddess of love. According to one myth, Aphrodite warned him of the dangers of hunting, but Adonis did not heed her advice and was killed by a boar. Speaking of violent animals, was killed by a boar. Or by Hephaestus, Aphrodite's jealous husband, disguised as a boar. A flower called the anemone sprang either from Adonis's blood or from Aphrodite's tears at his death. That is great. Oh, here we go. There's more. According to another myth, Aphrodite placed the infant Adonis in a chest and gave it to Persephone, the queen of the underworld, for safekeeping. Persephone became enchanted with the youth and wanted to keep him. Sounds creepy. To settle the quarrel between the goddesses, Zeus, king of the gods, ruled that Adonis would spend part of the year with Aphrodite and part of the year with Persephone. When Adonis stayed with Aphrodite on Earth, plants and crops flourished. During his time in the underworld, vegetation died. The Greeks used this myth to explain why the seasons changed. They honored Adonis in ceremonies and by cultivating plants that grew and died quickly. Very cool. See, I've always wanted to know why we call, what the whole history is. That's one thing. If I could know more about something, it would be about Greek myths and tragedies and just anything Greek. And it really bums me out that I don't know. So maybe this is the beginning. Right under this, Adonis is a plant/flower. Okay. And then we've got adoption. It says adoption is the process by which people take a child who was not born to them. Okay. What is with this encyclopedia? That is not how I would describe it, and words matter. This just doesn't... I realize there's more to the sentence. Okay, adoption is the process by which people take a child who was not born to them and raise him or her as a member of their family. That sounds like kidnapping, and that is not what adoption is. So I already disagree with this. How ridiculous. How ridiculous is this book? Okay, let's move on. That was fun, though. Let's go to my favorite one, the 1962 World Book Encyclopedia with the blue covers. This is how I learned to draw. God, these books. Oh, if only you could smell it. I wish I could, other than the fact that it just smells like an old library, I really couldn't tell you what it smells like. Let me take a drink of my decaf. Right here in the front, since we are on letter A, there is a whole beautiful, I remember this, there's this really cool section about how to get the most from your World Book Encyclopedia. And it shows one of the examples of how to learn how to use it. There are these two kids, a blonde white kid and a brown-haired white kid, and they're having an argument in front of a badminton net. And the blonde kid says, a badminton net has to be 5 feet from the ground. And the brunette kid said, I tell you, it's 6 feet! Exclamation point, exclamation point. I know it! Exclamation point. And then the blonde kid is like, you know what? We'll go directly to my World Book Encyclopedias. Follow me, you little asshole. And he does follow him in, and they start taking down. They take down the B. They explain, okay, if you're looking for badminton, you take down the B. You take it down, and then boom. Guess what? Blonde kid was right. Here's what we know about badminton. It is a 5-foot high net, 5 foot from the ground. And if you could only see this little cartoon, it's really fun. So many beautiful images in here. I'm telling you, these, and it's in full color in the front. Is the whole thing in full color? There's a lot of color in here. There's a lot of black and white photographs as well, but okay. Now let's see where we're going to end up. I'm seeing more animals. Keep in mind, these are the same book. It's just different time periods. Oh, I landed on ant. A-N-T, ants. More ants live on the earth than any other insect. Ants may be found in all parts of the world except near the North and South poles. Like people, ants do not live alone. They live and work with other ants in groups called colonies. Okay. Honey ants. By the way, I have so many ants in our house right now. We have so many ants in our house. and it just drives me insane. And there's nothing. Every year I've tried doing things about it. I've called an exterminator to ask them what to do, and they all have ideas, and nothing works. But I did have ants worse one other time, and they were like pouring out. It looked like liquid. There were so many of them out of a dishwasher I had once. This is when I lived it was West Hills, California. That's the valley, the San Fernando Valley. And it was one of the hottest places I've ever lived. And all I know is one day I went to open up the dishwasher to undo it, and right out of the handle poured ants. And I really do mean it looked like liquid coming out, like black, bumpy liquid. And it was so outrageous. The entire dishwasher was just covered in ants. But I've always loved ants. Ants have a big, they have actually a big place in my work. My drawings of all the sweatsuit guys were influenced by ant colonies, and I had read a book about ant colonies long ago, and I got really excited about ants. Here, there's a little section here. Let's go ahead and read interesting facts about ants. Hibernation. Ants cluster together and spend the winter sleeping inside their nests. Largest ants belong to the family of fierce Ponerine ants found in the tropics. They may be more than 1 inch long. Oh, I'd like to see those. Musicians. Ants rub parts of their abdomen together, making a high-pitched sound that other ants hear, probably by vibrations through their feet. People can sometimes hear these sounds. Whoa, really? I never knew you could hear an ant. That sounds crazy to me. Nest mates of ants include crickets, cockroaches, sick, beetles, flies, silverfish, sick, and caterpillars, sick. See, I'm not grossed out by ants, but I am grossed out by most of these other things that we just mentioned. Beetles, I'm not. How is it that I'm so grossed out by cockroaches and not beetles? Did I ever tell you that one of my main reasons for moving out of Texas was because of cockroaches? I just hate them so much. There was one time. And if you guys have never seen like cockroaches from the South, the big flying kind, they are truly the size of like my entire hand. And they'll just fly right towards your face. One time I lived in a house. It was the first time I moved out of the dorms in college. And this house was $75 a month. And it was an entire house with the biggest kitchen I've ever had. And 2 bedrooms, a living room, a backyard, a front porch. It was outrageous. I mean, this is Commerce, Texas. So, and this is the 90s. But anyway, I'll never forget this. I was taking my shower, and all of a sudden, the largest cockroach I have ever seen in my life just flew out of nowhere right towards my chest. And again, I'm taking a shower, so I'm naked, and I remember just like jumping out. And remember, I've gotten over this, but even in the beginning of this podcast 10 years ago, I was like I'm like a never nude, like Tobias Funke from Arrested Development, or I was for years. I was like really a freak about nudity. Thank God I've gotten over that. I've never updated you guys, but I'm not such a weirdo about nudity anymore, and especially not ever since these heart surgeries, because the things I had to do in front of other human beings while really having no clothes on, at this point now, I guess this is what women go through when they have babies, where they're like, yeah, it doesn't even matter anymore. I would get nude in front of anybody. But anyway, back then, even being nude outside of the shower for longer than a second, like I would always cover my body immediately. But this cockroach made it to where I was, it was chasing me all around the house. I remember like being chased right out into the kitchen, and it definitely landed on me several times. And, I'm not exactly ashamed of this, but I'm also not proud of it. I did torture this thing to death instead of killing it. I'm not going to tell you what I did, but I was so traumatized in the moment by what had just happened. A, all of a sudden I'm nude running around my house, and B, I could barely look at cockroaches, let alone have them touching my body while it didn't have clothes on. It was a nightmare. So anyway, I tortured this cockroach for a long time, actually. And, should I be sad about that? I don't know. Or should I be Embarrassed? I'm just telling you the truth. This was 1996. So if you're mad at me, then you're mad at a 1996 version of me, and that's okay. I have a feeling nobody's that pissed off at me. It's one cockroach in the world, and it was out to get me. Anyway, that should be all for the encyclopedias. Did we get anywhere on this? I'm not thinking we really found anything that revealing or that noteworthy, except I still can't get over. I think my favorite part that we just had in the encyclopedias was adoption being where people take other people's children. I mean, I would have definitely edited the shit out of that article if I were in charge. You guys, it was great being back here. It was great being back talking to you. Thank you to Tom Howes, and please check out his work at Not in Front of Company on Instagram. I think he even has a book, and I need to get that book. That's what I'd like to get. I wish there was a way for me to read his book aloud, but there's no words that I know of. It's all images. It would be fun to just read it as imagery. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe that's an upcoming episode. What else, you guys? I want to know how you're doing. Thank you. By the way, I got some nice messages from you guys, and I'm still working through them and trying to get back to you. I'm still a little bit slow. I wish I was my full energetic self, but it just takes me a lot longer to do things. So thank you for your patience. Thank you for everything. Did I tell you guys I'm on Substack still? If you guys want a drawing from me, you can get one for very little money. You can become a paid subscriber to my Substack, and then after you do that, you send me a message on Substack with your mailing address. And what do? I send you a drawing made just for you on a very beautiful vintage postcard, and I send it right to your address. So if you want that, that would be fun. I love doing these. This is honestly one of my favorite things I've ever done, besides the podcast, is making these postcards for people. Totally different, situation than the old days of me making enormous drawings that take forever. And who knows, maybe I will be back to that at some point. Not anytime soon, though. For now, we're going to take things slow. We're going to take things easy. And we're going to get you guys drawings sent directly to your house. And it's very fun for me. Why is that so much more fun? There is just something about it. We shall find peace. We shall hear angels. We shall see the sky sparkling with diamonds. That is Anton Chekhov. I am Robin O'Neill. This is me reading stuff. I loved being here with you guys. Have a great rest of your week and weekend, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.